Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Tover, the creators of the Tover Table. The Tover Table promotes more joyful social connections for seniors living with dementia through its wide range of interactive games. Developed with seniors and care professionals, Tover Table's games are designed to suit different stages of dementia and times of day. Discover more about the Tover Table and the power of purposeful play at www.tover.care/US.
My name is Greg Phelps, and joining me once again is Teepa Snow. Teepa, you recently posted an article called Tips to Reduce Loneliness in Residential Care Settings. Now, that title caught me by surprise, as I was one of these people. I thought that maybe people went into care so that you could deal with the loneliness. I'm going to put mom in there and she'll have some of her friends are in there. She'll make new friends in there. They've got social outings. Am I hearing sort of a in the background?
Hmm. Well, see, this is where we try to fix things with a setting, and we haven't truly looked at all the puzzle pieces that contribute to social isolation. Because if it's just the ability to get to other people, then moving into a setting where you have close proximity to other people, well, it might be the solution. But classically, when we're talking about brain changes that come with dementia, it's more complicated than that. Um, the person may be socially isolated because they've experienced many losses, and those losses have created a sense of emptiness, and the people I used to connect to aren't available anymore. I don't have the ability to go places like I used to, and I'm getting used to my little cave. Even though I'm isolated, having to go places is sort of overwhelming to me. And it could be that I have depression or anxiety about being in other spaces with other people. It could be that I'm losing some basic interaction skills, and that's why I'm pulling back and becoming more isolated. It could be that I actually have changes in my thinking patterns and memory patterns and language patterns that make it really uncomfortable to do things. And it could be I don't know how to initiate interactions anymore. I've lost that, and COVID robbed us of a lot of that. And it could be, wow, um, I don't have the ability to do bingo anymore. I went, the sound, there's too much. And residential settings for dining and for activities can be pretty loud and pretty busy and and if I've been living on my own for a while, it's a big shift. I mean, huge, let alone that, if I'm moving in, I'm having to really remap how I get from place to place, how my energy gets spent, where my bathroom is, how I the sink and the toilet. I mean, seems simple, but you've asked me to change everything that I know. And so I may not be ready for socializing that much to start with, or I might be a person who only likes one or two people deeply rather than a joiner where I like to join a bunch of stuff. And so I'm more of a solo operator, except for a few deep, close friends. And they're hard to make and they're hard to keep.
I hadn't thought about that, that oftentimes people have been on their own for a period of time. Mom passes away, dad passes away, mom and dad
Yeah.
live on their own. We visit but then you start thinking that, oh, it would be better to put them in care. And then all of a sudden they've gone from being in this house that they're familiar with for 35, 40 years, all their things, even though they don't use them, but they're there as visual markers, and we're going to take you and put you in this nice sterile place, and Susie Sunshine's going to come and say and take you all to bingo. Yeah, hadn't thought of it from quite that way.
I mean, and again, I don't think we do, because we're out to do good, but we don't always engage the other human being because we're anxious and we're nervous about, oh, she won't want to go. We better just sort of see if we can't make it work. And so we have things like we're placing mom, or we're taking dad, or we're gonna, well, he needs to do that. And it's like, well, maybe we need to figure out first, what's the social isolation about? Is it just that getting access to others, or is there more to it than that? And if there is, then we want to maybe start figuring that out before we start proposing a location of care change. Because that change can be more effective if from the outset I say, you know what, Susie, sunshine, tell you what, for the first couple weeks, I'm going to ask you to not really invite him too much, just because it's going to take him some while to settle in. What I would ask you to do is bring by that particular paper that I made sure I ordered and have delivered. And if you could, when you drop it off, if you bring him a cup of decaf in a mug, and I left a couple, that's going to be sort of a way to get him more comfortable with being around. And then I'll let you know sort of some additional things that I think might be helpful as we move forward.
Now, you and the team have actually worked with some facilities and given them some guidance, some things to be aware of, some things to do, some things not to do, equally as important. Is this a service that I can book you and the team for, or is this something that you just do? You see a place and you go, I'll go in and help them.
Yeah, no, we can certainly be supportive. We have mentors, we have folks who are trainers, coaches, consultants. We have folks with various expertise on board. So depending on what you're looking for, what you're needing, we can do some one-on-one consults, or we can do one-to-group consults. We can do some problem solving with you or with a group or an agency or an organization. We can help you and someone you care about make a transition that's maybe a more effective transition, that's based on you, the person, the situation, the building, the offerings that they have, the way the room is set up, who might be involved, what else is going on in somebody's life, what the pattern of their day is, so that the transition could be less traumatic and more beneficial. And it typically, for us, one of our recommendations, you always start with, you know what, I'm asking you for a big favor, and I want us to try this for a while, and let's see how it goes. And this is not a forever thing, but I want us to give it a good hard try, because we are really concerned about the amount of time you're spending alone. And we don't want to push the envelope, but we do want to recognize this is different than it's been before. Let's see what happens if we try this.
So speaking of trying things, if we're going to try things and I don't have the knowledge, can I talk to somebody at Positive Approach and get some ideas? Because it's so tempting to kidnap mom, say we're going in here for coffee, and then run like hell out the back door. Um, for those people can't see us because we're on Zoom, we're on the radio. Deepa's making a little bit of a grimace face, but that happens.
I'm whining too. I'm whining in the background. You might have missed the one. It's like, don't, oh, bad idea, bad idea, bad idea.
Do that.
I know, don't, please don't, please don't. That's not a good plan for anybody, because it means somebody's trapped and somebody feels abandoned. And that's not a great way to start a new life when you're already feeling a little overwhelmed. And it's not a great way for you to feel either, that that's the only way this is going to work. So if we're that desperate, wow, I would say, like, if you're not there yet, let's start looking at the possibilities of where could somebody go if they can't stay where they are, whatever that somewhere is, and have those thoughts and conversations before you're desperate, because when you're desperate, it's really hard to think. So that's one of the things we encourage is let's get to this before you're feeling isolated and socially, I can't do this anymore. Let's see if we can't get everybody on board a little sooner to have conversations about possibilities, not needs.
So somebody could have a consultation with one of your trained people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got consults at teepasnow.com, and they are free for the first half hour. And they're a relatively low fee for future half hours or hours. We try to make them available to people. And yes, funding might be an issue. Let us know. There are sometimes available sources that people have contributed to make life better for other people.
Deepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. For more information on today's program, go to teepasnow.com.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you liked if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.